Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. We are here with the hosted Better Business Bureau webinar, but we have some great guests with us with the Washington State Department of Labor and Industries. I am Allie Schmidt, Development Manager at your local Better Business Bureau, and today we have the opportunity to hear from Chris Alcatraz from the Washington State Department of Labor and Industries, and a guest presenter, Ernesto Carcamo. I told him I wouldn't mess it up, but of course I had to. Carcamo, I believe. And he's an ergonomist with the Washington State Department of Labor and Industries. I would like to address that if you have any questions at any time throughout the presentation, please type them in the question section, and Chris or Ernesto or myself will be able to address them directly during the webinar. Thank you for joining us, and the presentation is now yours, Chris.
Thank you very much, Allie. We really appreciate the opportunity to come back and share some more tips with folks. A lot of our presentations and a lot of the efforts that we've done with our articles and the Torch Talks have been really focused at employers. And today we wanted to do something a little different and focus on our Washington workers and how they can stay safe. So I'm just going to take us through a real quick overview of the labor and industry's different divisions and what they can do to support workers, because there's a whole lot more to this agency than just filing a workers' comp claim. So I'll be taking over just resources for workers, who you need to contact and when, and then I'll turn it over to my partner Ernesto to talk about how you can prevent sprains and strains in those particular injury types. So our agency is fairly large. We've got 19 regional offices located throughout the state, and we cover a lot of different work-related topics. Workplace safety and health, keeping our workers and our communities safe, is certainly a key part of that. The Workers' Compensation Insurance Program is also fairly well known. If someone's injured on the job, that's the medical coverage and the disability benefits that's available to them. State minimum wage breaks and hours are also covered by our agency. And so is prevailing wage if there's a public works project. Contractor registration, electrical licensing and plumber's licenses, and also the apprenticeship program are other divisions that we have. So there's a lot of different things that we can do to help both businesses and workers in our community. The workplace safety and health team, they focus particularly on keeping workers safe. So you can contact them if you need to report any unsafe working conditions, but they can also assist by providing safety training and helping to set up both an accident prevention program and ongoing safety meetings. We have a lot of resources available on our website, a lot of videos on our YouTube channel, and they can really break down what the safety and health rules are, make them a little easier to remember and follow. So workers in Washington do have a right to a safe workplace. If there's any concern about your treatment in the workplace, or whether or not you're in a safe working condition, or even if you witness something that may not even be at your job site, if you're driving by and you see something that doesn't look safe, feel free to bring that to our attention. You can call any local L&I office, or if you see an urgent hazard and you want to let someone know right away, please call our 800 number at 1-800-423-7233, and that is manned all the time around the clock to let somebody know if there's an urgent issue. So our website again, where you can find those safety videos and more information on staying safe in your workplace, is lni.wa.gov/safety. The Workers' Compensation Insurance Program is actually my area of expertise. That's the side of the house I work on. But it works specifically to cover workers in case of that injury that did happen. Prevention, of course, is what we're focusing on, but if things do go wrong and someone's injured on the job, this insurance will cover not only their medical costs, but also disability benefits for that work-related injury or illness. If your employer is self-insured, some of our larger employers in Washington, such as Boeing, are self-insured, and you would file directly through your employer. Otherwise, your claim is filed with us here at Labor and Industries. The first thing, though, that we would encourage you to do is to seek any necessary medical treatment. If you're not sure which doctor to go to or you need help finding one in your area, you can go to our website, to our Find a Doc tool, and it will search your area for you for medical providers nearby. When you seek medical treatment, you can get assistance from your medical provider or their staff to file a claim, or you can also file your claim by phone or online through our website. So the File Fast program will have folks available on staff 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and you can call their toll-free number or go to our website and search File Fast if you need assistance filing a claim. If you need additional information about what types of workers' comp benefits are available to you, or if you have an ongoing claim and you want to sign up for internet access and online access to your claim file, or if you're curious to find more information about what L&I can do for you to help you get back to work, you can go to our website at lni.wa.gov/claims, and there's a step-by-step process to what goes on when a claim is filed and what resources are there to help and when. If you do have an existing claim with our agency and you have any questions regarding your treatment, your benefits, or any payments that are due to you, you can call 1-800-LISTENS. That's 1-800-LISTENS to reach one of our staff members about an existing claim. So just a quick reminder, one of the things that makes Washington unique is that in Washington state, workers pay for a portion of the L&I insurance premium. So a portion of your paycheck is actually going to support this insurance as well. One of the programs we wanted to make folks aware of is that our agency also oversees the Employment Standards Program, and that's focusing on workplace rights, specifically regarding wage and hour and the type of work that you're doing. So we have specialists in 4 particular divisions. Wage and hour is going to cover Washington state minimum wage. We do not enforce any of the local municipalities that have gone above and beyond state minimum wage, but we do cover minimum wage statewide. The Teen Worker Program not only endorses minor work permits, but they also oversee the hours, the shifts, and the type of work and the type of equipment that teens are allowed to work with in Washington. So if you have any questions about that, whether it's your child joining the workforce or whether your business is looking into hiring young workers, please do get in touch with our Teen Worker Program or check out our website for more information on the types of job duties that they can do. If you have any questions regarding protected leave or benefits that are due to you, if there's any question regarding workplace discrimination due to disability, illness, or especially pregnancy, we do receive a lot of complaints regarding that and a lot of questions from workers and employers both that may not know the appropriate way to treat workers when they're going through that type of transition. Our specialists in employment standards can also answer questions regarding agriculture workers, specifically the rate of pay that they receive if they're getting piecework, compensation for breaks, and working with farm labor contractors who are paid to provide workers for different farms. If you call our toll-free number, you can talk to anyone in the Employment Standards Program and ask your question regarding what your rights in the workplace are, and they'd be happy to direct you to a specialist for your specific question. They can also accept wage complaints online, so if you feel you still have wages owed to you, there is an online form where you can explain the hours that you've worked, the rate of pay that you agreed to, and the difference between that and what you've received so far. So wage complaints are followed up on by all of our investigative and specialty staff. There's one more special area of the Employment Standards Program called Prevailing Wage, and that refers specifically to public works projects, which is a project that's paid for by a government or municipality, such as schools, county, state, and local government buildings. And the wages that are required to be paid for each of those projects are set per each county. So there is a requirement for any of those government-sponsored projects to be paying the prevailing wage for that type of work. And if you have questions as far as what the journey level or apprenticeship rates are for your area, or if you're interested in getting into doing this type of work and you want to know more about the program itself, please see our website at lni.wa.gov/prevailing wage, and it will show you what the rates are for your area. If you do have a wage complaint, there is a wage complaint form on there, and our staff would be happy to answer your questions. One more unique area that we do have here at Labor and Industries is that we also register contractors to do construction work in Washington. And if we have out-of-state firms that are coming into Washington to do construction work, they also need to be registered here. Electricians and plumbers would also need to be licensed. And if you're having work done on your home, or if you're looking to go into work in this type of field, you can go to our website and make sure that that employer or that firm is properly licensed, bonded, and has liability insurance to protect you as a consumer. The workers' compensation insurance that they need to cover for workers would also be listed on our website, as well as any safety inspections or violations that they've had. So if you go to our online tool at lni.wa.gov/verify, you can verify all of that information and better protect yourself as a consumer or a worker. If you have any questions regarding contractor registration, who's required to be registered and what type of coverage needs to be provided, you can give a call to our contractor registration team and they'd be happy to help you out. We also provide free training for contractors and folks in the construction industry. And if you need information and you want to go into that line of work, give us a call. We'd be happy to let you know the next time a class will be held near you. The apprenticeship program here at Labor and Industries registers different apprenticeship programs in many different industries, and they provide on-the-job training as well as classroom instruction to help you either start a new career, or for those just after high school graduation that want to come into a highly skilled trade, this is a great opportunity for them. There are also pre-apprenticeship programs available if folks need assistance with basic skills prior to applying for a registered apprenticeship. And there's information available on our website if you key search apprenticeship, or if you give us a call at 360-902-5320, you can talk to an apprenticeship consultant about the industry you'd like to go into, your level of education and experience, and what might be the best fit for you. And this is a great way for us to get skilled workers here in Washington into careers that are both fulfilling and well-paying for them. One thing we'd like to encourage everyone to do, no matter where you are and what your work status or employment status is here, is to help us keep an eye out for fraud. We are investigating unregistered contractors. If anyone's out there and not providing workers' comp insurance for their employees, or if there are injured workers who are filing claims for disability and then they're still working, even though they're claiming they're not able to work, any of those instances of fraud, you can help us save taxpayers money, save workers money by reporting fraud to us and having us investigate that. You can go to our website, again, lni.wa.gov. There's a link right on our homepage to report fraud in any of those categories, and you can do so anonymously online or by phone. So I really appreciate the time to walk you through a lot of our different projects. If you do have any general questions for us or you're not sure where to start, you can call our main number, go onto our website, and I believe Allie will have our contact information posted as well when this website goes live. So I'm going to hand over now to Ernesto, who's going to talk a little bit more specifically about workplace injuries and how we can prevent sprains and strains.
Good morning. This is Ernesto Carcamo from one of those many divisions that Chris showed us this morning. I really appreciate the presentation, Chris, because our agency is pretty big and it's very complex, and we offer a lot of services to our customers in the state of Washington. And to give you an idea, I work for a division that for short we call it DOSH, which is a local OSHA. Probably you're more familiar with that acronym. We are the Division of Occupational Safety and Health. And if you're able to see my screen, Ali, is my screen on?
No, not quite there yet.
Okay, let me, okay. Let me click some buttons here. And let's see, which one is my screen that I want to share? Is that on now?
Yes, you are set.
Okay. So for our live participants, if you have good eyes, you can zoom in, but under the logo there of the Labor and Industries is spelled out the name of my division, Occupational Safety and Health. And what we do here is pretty challenging because our jurisdiction in the state is to provide prevention services for about 300,000 work sites. It does not include other sites that are federally in the federal jurisdiction, like airports, ports, mines, and other areas. But I'm really excited this morning to be, as you can see in these two logos, hand in hand with the Better Business Bureau, and try to provide some compelling information sharing with you all. Ali, for specific, she asked us to talk about how to prevent sprains and strains, which, by the way, are over a third of the claims that we get in the insurance side of our agency. Our sprains and strains, unfortunately, are very painful, and they affect a lot of people, a lot of workers in the state of Washington in several body parts. First one is the lower back. And Ali thought that we would have this morning some people from the travel industry. And I was surprised because when we think about travel, well, that's an industry, but when you look in the Better Business Bureau website and you get a list of what sectors are in the travel industry, I got this list of about 10 different sectors. And of course, I can talk to all of them. And I don't know, I wish you could be live saying, oh yeah, I work in travel agency, or I'm a tour operator or on cruises, so I could better point my discussion to those sectors. But I don't know if Ali, we would have that opportunity if some of the participants live would let us know what of these different sectors in the travel industry are they working on today, so I can put more emphasis in their area. Of course, I don't know many areas. So can they chat in or can they talk? No.
Yep. If you are feeling comfortable, our viewers today, please submit through the question or answer form or the chat, explaining maybe what industry you're in, or if you are related to the travel agency and in what way. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I can tell you up front, I have no experience with truck stops myself, what happens there. But we have done some work assisting the hospitality or hotels, and some of the slides and presentation that I will discuss is related to the people that work in hotels and how they may be exposed to some hazards that create sprains and strains. The other one, tours operators. Last year, I had the opportunity to work with one of these companies in Seattle who operate motor coaches, those beautiful buses that take groups of people around visiting our beautiful Pacific Northwest. So hopefully one of these industry sectors will make sense or will be important to some of you up there. Okay, so what I prepared for you is, as I was saying, can you see my pointer there? We're going to talk a little bit about the hotel or hospitality industry, motor coach, and I noticed that many of the businesses in the travel sector in my mind, they are doing their work or operating their business through an office and using a computer. So we're going to talk about some resources we have in our webpage to maybe look into what you can do for yourself to prevent sprains and strains while working in a computer. Myself, like an ergonomist, and now probably you've heard or you've seen that a lot, while I'm talking to you, I'm not sitting down. I'm standing on a standing desk because I feel better when of course, I sit during the day, but I also have the option to stand. So let's move on, and that's the official screen or cover slide for this presentation. And at the bottom there is my name, and those letters means that I went to school for this, and the CPE stands for a Certified Professional Ergonomist. This is certification that you are required to have in the United States to practice ergonomics as a professional. And my email address, my name, last name at lni.wa.gov. And Chris said it very eloquently several times, so lni.wa.gov. And what I expect to share with you this morning is, as I was saying, talk about some things that could hurt people in the hospitality sector, motor coach, and working with computers. To get started with the matter, I went to our neighbors north of the border, WorkSafe BC. You can see at the top, and they are like DOSH or LNI, workers' compensation entity, and they do provide a lot of education for several industries. And I found that they have very specific material for the hospitality industry, and I hope the next slide is going to show us what happens when people work cleaning the hotel rooms, because I don't know, sometimes we go to hotels, people who travel for work, for fun, and we don't realize that there's actual human beings cleaning up, sorting out our rooms when we come back after work or having fun and finding everything clean. And those people might be exposed to some conditions that can create sprains and strains. So I'm gonna see if we can play this video. Can you see that video, Ali? Probably you won't be able to hear the audio. Are you hearing the audio?
No, the audio's not working, but we can't see it.
So you won't hear the narration, but when you go to WorkSafe BC to find, if you're interested in this, what it's showing is that people who work cleaning the bathrooms in the hotels, they recommend to use long handle tools instead of to prevent awkward postures of the back. There is repetition, and it's showing the area where you should be in the green. Stand in the tavern to scrub the walls. And that cloth is to prevent sleeping, because we know this. And pay attention to the danger zone. That's not a good idea to stand on that edge of the tub. Squat, do not bend to clean. And always you notice this worker here demonstrating is switching hands back and forth. And that is important to keep in mind, because we were born with two body sides, but people who are right-handed or have a dominant side, we tend to overuse one more than the other. So this is describing how to use the right tool and try to clean bathroom in sections, as it's showing here, different green and blue, and use one hand or the other, switch between hands. Okay, so that was a quick video demonstrating. And this is for vacuuming. And here you will see an interesting way of doing it, we all vacuum, I think. Most of us, we do at home. And you'll see this is kind of unusual that she is more walking than moving the arms, because our legs are stronger than our shoulders. And in our claims, injuries to shoulders are very painful and very severe injuries and hard to heal sometimes. So our legs are stronger, and they're recommending to keep arms and elbows in a kind of relaxed, neutral position. And I don't vacuum with gloves at home, but maybe if you're working every day in the hospitality industry, you need to do that. I, as an ergonomist, again, when I do it at home, I don't do that. But if you're a professional doing this, it's better to do it with your legs, again, because those are stronger muscles. And the proneness to suffer sprain and strain is a little bit less. So even though this is a little bit of a kind of an out there statement, it's just to demonstrate that we can do that. But I like this part where even at home we do this. That's way better than striking the furniture or things with the vacuum cleaner, because you avoid tripping and impact. All right. Hopefully that video came out well. And now we're moving into the motor coach industry, and you see these happy guys here probably are not the operators, but probably some tourists or visitors that are hanging out there, taking some care from our sunny Seattle, somewhere there, whenever it's sunny in Seattle. But in the motor coach industry, one of the things that we learn is that the operator who sits for long hours driving the vehicle also has to assist the customers handling luggage. And we all know when we travel, we all know that carrying bags is not the most fun part of our travel. And fortunately, most of the bags that we use today have wheels, and that has relieved a lot of physical strain on the shoulder and backs, because we push or pull our luggage instead of carrying it. So that helps. But there's a point where motor coach operators there, they need to assist customers loading and unloading the bus. They are supposed to do that, not the customer. And you can see that luggage has different shapes, forms, and weights, and that can create some challenges and some physical burdens to the operator of the motor coach. Special attention, and this is something that we also know that in many cases the industry has to assist customers that need special attention, and helping people move around, it's one of the most physically demanding tasks that can, if we don't know how to properly do that, can create some hazards for shoulder or back injury. In the motor coach industry, we know that the material handling and assisting people on and off the buses maybe are the main factors to look into when we want to prevent sprains and strains. It's not only heavily lifting, as I put here, but it could be awkward when we're assisting people. In general, people, we are heavy, 100 pounds and above, and people move. So when we're trying to balance people, that can create an additional risk for the operator. And of course, like you see in this picture, sometimes you're picking up a group of tourists and everybody's waiting to either get their bag into the bus or out, and each one of these pieces of luggage are coming out of one operator's hand, on and off, and you're using your back, your legs, and your shoulder, your hands and upper extremity to lift and deliver those bags to the customer. Average weight of those bags, maybe 35, 40 pounds. Yeah, we like to carry a lot of stuff when we travel. And this is more or less what happens. And this gentleman has an operator's face. And this is the way things happen. And here we're going to get into a little bit of a technical aspect of our specialty in ergonomics. So you've heard Chris several times saying the lni.wa.gov website. And if you go to our website and type a lifting calculator, if some of you get really, really passionate and interested in learning how much can you safely lift in an operation, let's say, with luggage, this calculator, you can download it to your, and this is not a commercial, it's just because the developers developed the app for iPhones and for Android. Myself, I don't have none of those. I have a Windows phone, so I can't use it on my phone, but I can use it online. And it's a really neat tool. Let me show you the next screen. So it's very simple. What you get on your phone is a silhouette of this gentleman that has kind of a relaxed posture. And I just wanted to show you that you always get two results, because science has shown us that when we lift something in front of us and we don't twist, that it's a little bit safer than when you lift and twist. So what I want you to pay attention now, at the bottom you see two numbers, 53 pounds and 63 pounds. We have a 10 pounds difference between lifting something and you are twisting to either side over 45 degrees, as you read at the top. Or if you're not twisting, you can, according to this calculator, you can lift safely up to 63 pounds. But pay attention, I'm not saying it every day, all 8 hours during the day. It's about 2 to 3 lifts every minute for 1 hour or less during your working day. Well, I wish someone could ask. I'm imagining a lot of questions out there, but I just want, before we move to the next slide, see the white area here is the optimum posture, body posture to lift something. But we're going to see that in the real world, like this smiling gentleman is assisting that smiling customer over there. And if you compare his body posture, he's leaning towards the customer and he's totally lifting and extending his, semi-extending his arms. And let's calculate how much weight he might be reasonably and safely bearing. So, so I am assuming that he is, if he was not twisting, and remember, he was reaching, smiling to the lady, to the customer. Up here, his maximum limit weight, safe weight to lift would be 18 pounds. But we also noticed that he was smiling and twisting. So the max safe lift would be up to 15 pounds. Again, 2 to 3 lifts every minute for 1 hour or less. If he was unloading a busload of people, and maybe that's, I don't know how many people those motor coaches carry, but maybe over 35, 40 customers or passengers. So he would be way over, and probably if he keeps doing that way, it won't be long until he, unfortunately, start getting symptoms, pain, and maybe the worst case would be filing a claim with labor and industries. Okay, Ali, how am I doing time-wise? I'm checking here.
We're good. Yeah, I'd say if we have questions that want to start rolling in, you know, whether it's relating to what Ernesto is talking or not,
Okay.
that would eliminate some of our question and answer at the end. So yeah, continue
Sure.
on.
You want to go ahead? Because well, let me finish this section with the calculator, and then I'll ask you again if you want to have the audience ask some questions. So
Absolutely.
Another example, and this is another happy lady assisting customers in the bus to put luggage in the luggage compartment. We see that in airplanes, and everybody smiles happily, but that's not the best posture to lift anything heavy or anything at all, because our shoulders and back may be impacted negatively and again cause a sprain and strain. There's a lot of mechanics. We've studied a lot of biomechanics throughout many decades now. We know for a fact that that's not a good body posture to handle loads. And let me show you again in our calculator what happens when, like that lady, if you look the white boxes here in the calculator, if she was not twisting, the maximum weight she could be safely lifting is 9 pounds. Again, please do not forget, we're talking to a limit of 2 to 3 lifts every minute for 1 hour or less. When I fly personally, and I know this as an ergonomist, I try not to have flight attendants to do or load the luggage for me on the compartment, because yeah, they have to help other people, and even though some of them, they're young and healthy, but they can suffer strains and sprains in their shoulders and back. Alrighty, I think this is the last one with the calculator. Yes. So Ali, I'm going to go back to you and see if we have questions.
We haven't received any yet at this time, but
Okay.
Ernesto is more than happy to answer questions relating to other industries. We really wanted to touch on the travel, just because it is such a high front of mind thing this time of year, and these industries are really picking up. So we wanted to make sure everyone had the information they needed. But Ernesto, if you feel comfortable answering questions for all industry types, I think that would be great.
Yes, I'll be happy to try and assist. Or if I don't know, I'll just direct you. In our website, actually, we have information on how to prevent sprains and strains for many industries in the state of Washington. And we keep learning of other industries, like today, how the travel sector also has some challenges that we can assist with using ergonomics as a very powerful prevention tool. Probably in this slide you can't read very well, but I do. So we have learned with, again, with experience and through scientific research, that there's strategies to modify the workplace for the people that operate or that are exposed to these risks of sprains and strain out there. And it sounds like, you see the first one here that I wrote is reduce the weight. Of course, as you saw in the calculator, the less the weight, the less the risk, and that's fine. But right below, I wrote increase the weight. It doesn't make sense. Well, it does in our minds as ergonomists, because if you increase the weight so much that there's no way that a worker, a human, can lift that, then you have to use what we call a lift assist or equipment. And that in some industry is, and even in the this motor coach and travel sector for baggage handling, you see some pictures. It can be that mechanizing the physical burden of lifting stuff. Let me move on. For example, this is one, instead of carrying by hand all this luggage, you can see the smiling gentleman demonstrating this card will make his work, his physical burden a little bit less. Probably the cost or the price of investing in one of these, if you are a small operator in the state and you think this is going to cost you $100, I mean $1,000 or $800, I would recommend not to go and buy many of these. Just try it once. Many vendors of these equipment, they may even provide you a sample for a few days or weeks to see if that works for you without investing a dime. So try it out. And there's a lot of equipment out there on the web that you can look for this type of operations. And again, to keep your operators and workers happy and healthy. This is a more sophisticated one. You need equipment, but this is a vacuum, very powerful, that it can be used in some settings to handle luggage. So there's no human, well, there is human lift operating the vacuum, but it's minimum the amount of physical demand on the back and the shoulder of this worker. Also,
I
yes.
have a quick question about that vacuum. I feel like so much of what happens in the airlines is kind of behind closed doors. So we put it on the conveyor belt and then it kind of moves back. Is this something that a lot of airlines do use, or is this kind of an unseen in the travel world?
That's a great question. I appreciate that, because we've recently been working with a major airline operator in SeaTac exactly about that problem. So the reality is, first, it used to be that the workers, it's all this luggage handling at the airport. It's based on human handling. Loading and unloading the airplane is done by human hands. It used to be that there were airline employees, but that part of the operation was outsourced to another company, so they're not part of the airline. And it's very interesting, your question, because airlines have different airplanes and different cargo areas, so people need to learn and adapt to the subtle differences in design. And even if we see some parts of the loading and unloading luggage from an aircraft, they use ramps with conveyor belts, but when you're sitting in the airplane, underneath there's the compartment, and actual human beings are moving your bags and putting them in the right location in kind of odd or awkward postures. And they do it the same way for loading and unloading the plane. Last time I traveled, I noticed that some late passenger walked into the airplane, and his bag was being loaded while the ramp with the conveyor belt had been removed. So the baggage handler came and had to kind of prop up the bag into the fuselage, but then he had to climb himself and pull himself up, so his own body weight into the compartment to reach in there. And I was thinking exactly as an ergonomist, well, there's a lot of weight throwing the bag into the airplane, but also doing the push-up of your own body weight, which is about maybe 150 pounds. That's a lot of risk. So to answer your question, yes, there are a lot of challenges in that area. We've seen, though, that the airline industry more and more is looking into this and trying to add some equipment, not like the vacuum, because they don't have, it's more conveyor belts are flexible that can be put into the aircraft and assist the workers. Also the issue is that the investment in those equipments is kind of significant. So as long as they demonstrate their cost benefit, they will slowly implement more. But let me tell you, in talking about cost of injuries, sprains and strains, unfortunately, are also very costly, because people, an injured worker with sprains and strains sometimes takes several weeks or months to recover. They are very painful, and in many cases, some people cannot come back to work in full capacity, and so their doctor bills and even the premiums with workers' comp insurance are pretty high. If you're a small operator, you have small business, one or two of these sprains and strains can really affect the bottom line of your business in a highly significant way. The good news is that we work with a lot of good businesses that understand that safety and health and keeping workers safe is a very key component of their success as a business, because they, in many cases, all the wealth of their business relies on the worker being at work and not out on a claim or working with pain. Pain is a very distracting symptom, and if you have, let's say, a travel agent and you have people working with their mind, knowledge workers, we call them, and they're in pain, distraction is pretty high. So that's another impactful situation there. I hope that was a wordy answer to your question.
No, I appreciate that. It's good to have more information than not enough. And we actually had someone chime in that they work in the automotive and RV repair industry, which I don't know very much about that at all, but I assume that working with cars and under cars and inside of cars and RVs, that you are going to be bent over, you're going to be laying down. There's a lot of peculiar, I guess, body positions that you would be in. And then also, you know, the office work. So your standard office ergonomic issues that you would have. Do you have any information or suggestions to someone that works in that industry?
Great segue to our next section. So I'm going to go very quickly through these slides.
I'm sorry, Ernesto. I just wanted to chime in real quick and remind folks that we're also going to be focusing on the automotive industry next month. Ooh. And we are working with another specialist in Ernesto's team in safety and health to coordinate with us on that as well. So look for the Torch Talk next month and the webinar next month for detailed videos. But Ernesto, if you'll take it away on what we can give them high level today would be great.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. That was good. So this is something that we recommend. Instead of lifting, always slide in any condition. So we see that children are very smart in this way. They don't lift because they can't, and they drag things. So don't tell your kids, oh, don't drag your bag, or it's smarter for them to do that. Their backpack or heavy backpacks we book at school, it's ergonomically safer that way. All right, so Motor Coach, we won't stop here, but we have a lot to say about people who drive long hours, but we can save it for a different, and try to get here. So we're very proud of the tools and resources that we have on our website, and this is a page in the DOSH. Hopefully you already know what DOSH stands for. It's the Division of Occupational Safety and Health. We did Labor and Industries, and you see here Safety and Health. And I'm going to tell you how to get to this page, because we have thousands of pages in our website. So when you get in any way to our web page, you have that box, that search L&I box. And if you type computer ergonomics, those two words, you'll get a results list. And the first link that you get at the top will take you to this page, Office Ergonomics. So type, again, I'm going to repeat, computer ergonomics, and click search. You get a results list. The first link is going to be the one that will take you to this page on Office Ergonomics. And I'm going to see if this works here. So after reading all this information that describes, I'm going to try to launch an online tool that we have for you. Is that tool up and visible?
Yep, you're perfect.
So today, because we were talking with the travel industry, we're not going to talk, but you can see there's a lot of different adjustments and things to look for in a regular office. I will let you do that as homework until the next webinar. You can do that, but I want to focus the discussion now on mobile computer. So mobile computing is exactly probably what many of you are doing, hopefully not when you're driving and watching this webinar on your cell phone or your laptop. That's not safe. So if you're really, really interested in this webinar, stop your car in a safe place and you can continue enjoying this. But many people today, they do try to use their time while traveling and using their mobile equipment, mobile computer equipment. And there are some different things to look for. And in this tool that we have online, I'm going to show you the basics here. So when you work on a laptop, of course, we can work in any condition, position possible. If you look, if you have children, they're super creative the way they use these devices and look at their postures. But one thing that I learned, children are very smart in many ways, and especially for this type of body postures. And we've learned with research and time that there's no perfect posture at all. The best posture, we say, is the next one. And children move a lot. And that's what we recommend. When you're working with a computer, always try to change postures as much as you can. Sit, stand, squat, or whatever you like to do, but move your body. That's very important. So the challenges for the eyes with mobile equipment is the size of the screen that is typically small. And we don't recommend to be working for long periods with a small screen, small computer. So if you think you're going to be working for a long time on a project, on a document, try to either connect your laptop to a larger screen, a regular desktop screen, ideally, or take frequent breaks. I used to work for a former semiconductor company in the Bay Area, and we had that's a recommendation. We had a policy. We didn't allow engineers to work on mobile equipment for longer than 2 hours at a time a day, because I don't know, your eyes use muscles to accommodate distance and focus. So those muscles get tired as well. You won't get I don't know if you can get a sprain or strain in your the muscles that move your eyes, but you can shorten the health of your eyes that way.
Ernesto, I have a quick question about the page that we're on currently.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you can search computer ergonomics and hit search, and the list will populate, and then you can click on the top one, and then you'll get to this information. If someone wanted to go on that website and type in maybe construction ergonomics or another form, is there another set of industry ergonomics that you can find, or is it just the office related?
No, thank you. That's a great question. So that search box is for the whole website. And in this case, because we're focusing on computer ergonomics or office ergonomics, I did those two words. But you can type construction ergonomics, you can type agricultural ergonomics for agricultural business, hospitality ergonomics, healthcare, and people will be able to find information in that regard.
Yeah, we had another viewer mention that they were in the roofing industry. So I think maybe contractors or construction ergonomics would kind of apply to quite a few.
Yes.
Is it as specific as roofing or that sort of thing, or how specific can it get?
It is very specific, and in our web pages we have also documents, especially for construction ergonomics. We have links, documents that they can be downloaded. They're for free. They're in English and Spanish with very down-to-earth, I'm going to use that expression, ideas or solutions, nothing sophisticated or super expensive for contractors to use to prevent this type of injuries in their work. as I say, we have not only in English, but in other languages, and one of those would be Spanish.
That's great.
Yes. So, well, let's see, let me check my, oh yeah, well, I promised it was going to be shorter and take longer, but you can check here this website. There's different areas for you to look while you're working with the computer while on the road and traveling. And I want to close this with showing this, the quick check link while you're looking here. You can just browse your pointer and it'll show you, see how comfortably you can be working with a laptop. Again, changing postures is what we recommend the most. There's not one perfect posture that you can sit or lie there forever. But changing posture is what we recommend overall. Moving forward, and I'm going to browse. I learned that also another component of the travel industry is the auto rental. They have some challenges, and maybe they are more applicable to that. Your question, Ali, about people who make RV mechanics or maintenance. There's a lot of challenges, and we have information for that as well. Tools. So we have some e-learning tools on our website. I'm going to say this slowly. We created a URL that is simpler to memorize for our customers. It's ionSafety.info. It's like the eyes we used to see, ionSafety.info, and it will take you to an page in our website where you can find more information. And we have this pretty cool one for warehouse operations, how to prevent sprains and strains in the warehouse. It's a short, probably 5-minute one with some very practical recommendations for people who work there. We always say that the employees, even though I'm an ergonomist with several years of schooling, but I know very little about the work people do. So it's very, very important to talk to your employees. They are the experts on their job, and they have sometimes figured out many of the great ideas that we have in our website come from actual workers who perform the job, sometimes with pain, and the pain led them to be creative and come up with ideas. We have also an Ergonomics Ideas Bank, searchable by industry and by, if you want to know about lifting ideas, you can go to our bank, and we throw as many ideas as we have there at no cost, of course. And I don't know if you can read that. That's our final contact information. If you have further questions about ergonomics, we have an email that goes to our team, the ergonomics@lni.wa.gov, or already our website, www.lni.wa.gov/safety. Well, Ali, thank you. It was fun to be talking to the computer.
Thank you. This is really great information, and as Chris mentioned, next month we'll be focusing in on those that auto information. So for anyone that was viewing today that would like to participate in next month, please keep an eye out for your email. Thank you so much, Ernesto. You are a wealth of information. Great that we could have such thought out information. It's great. It seems like you know a lot of what you've been doing. How long have you been an ergonomist for?
Oh, then I have to tell you my age, but it's over 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I started very young.
Well, it's great that we have such specialized information from you with how long you've been doing this for. That means a lot. I learned a few things, I guess, when it comes to lifting and how much the airline industry really needs to take a look at what they're having their employees do. And maybe by seeing that, some of our viewers or people that will see this recording will see, just those little daily tasks, you may think it's infrequent, but when you count how many times you're doing it a day or how many times you're doing it an hour, how much it can really impact if it's not proper technique or it's extra strain on the body than what's necessary.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I guess at this time, any final questions? We're a few minutes over 10, so I don't want to keep anyone longer unless they have specific questions for Ernesto or for Chris. Chris also has some great information and knows a lot about a lot when it comes to labor and industries. So we appreciate you being on here too, Chris.
Absolutely. I'm an L&I tour guide, so we've got resources all over the agency. And in the chat this morning, I did put in the link for Ergo Ideas and the Ion Safety link. For those of you that are still with us this morning, if you go into your chat box, you've got those links live there that Ernesto mentioned as well.
That's great. Yeah, and Ernesto, if you would like to fill in any other links that you mentioned in the chat box for everyone to see, that would be great. If not, Chris did add those in, as she said. I'd just like to say thank you to Chris and Ernesto again, and thank you for all participating in today's webinar. It's always fun to do these partnerships with Washington State Department of Labor and Industries, just because it is such a big expanded department, and there is so much to learn from what you guys have available. This webinar will be posted on BBB's YouTube page as well as our BBB webinar homepage, which can be found at bbb.org/Northwest. It should be posted later this week, so if you'd like to rewatch or share this information with others, maybe you have an employer who doesn't think that this sort of thing is important, maybe it would be good to forward it on to them to really get those wheels turning so that you can be the catalyst in your company or your department or your business to make sure that everyone's safe and taken care of at work. Ernesto, any last thoughts you want to send out there for everyone?
I just want to thank you and the BBB for the work they do for us also as a consumer. And as you said, Labor and Industries is a big agency, but also we have a big community that we serve here in the state of Washington. And our main mission is to keep workers and businesses safe for our people, because no one should go to work and get hurt, get sick, or die. So we think it's a very, very important role that we play as well. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And we sure appreciate our partnership with the Better Business Bureau. And if folks have any questions or suggestions for upcoming topics, please pass them along to Allie and her team at the BBB, and I'm sure they will get them to us.
Absolutely. I will put in my email address right now, so that can happen as soon as possible. And also, I guess I'll just leave it with, if you have any further questions, like Chris said, you don't want to send me an email, you can always call 206-431-2227, and that you can give a call for suggestions or questions about this webinar. And I hope everyone has a great day.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.